The Flat Earth Fail compilations are some of my favourite videos to make, and it's because we get to see up to 4 different Flat Earthers fail with a 100% success rate. So without further ado, let's move on to our next volume of fails as we look at the Flat Earth Fail compilation, episode 47. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Flat Earth Friday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Right, back to today's video, which as you know is the Flat Earth Fail compilation, episode 47, no less. And we start with a guy called Moses, who is interviewing a Flat Earther for his podcast. Now he's asking this particular Flat Earther how he got into Flat Earth.
How did you discover this way of looking at the world that we live in?
So and we'll get into that, I got saved a while ago, and the biggest things when I got saved was I wanted to know the gospel. I wanted to know what Jesus called me to live out and how he called me to live and walk that out. So I just stuck to the Bible. I didn't read a whole lot of books and extra stuff. And
well, some would say that would be your first issue, but carry on.
Over the years, God would just bring stuff in and reveal stuff through the Word and verify it. But it was around 2017, I think the summer 2017, I was like, never really had a telescope. I want to get a telescope and look at the stars in outer space. And at that time, I believed in outer space and Mars and Neptune and all these planets. I was like, the vastness of God's creation is amazing.
I wonder with how having a telescope you could go on to believe that the Earth is flat.
And I remember the first night I was looking at stars, I was intrigued because the stars looked like they were twinkling and shimmering, almost like a stone on a bright sunny day under the water, but that's not what I thought then. But I was just like, this is so weird. Why are they like twinkling and rippling? I'm like, it's just like the song, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And I'm like, this is cool.
Now, your claim earlier where you said that you didn't read many books, just the Bible, is the issue because you would have read about why stars twinkle. Because you'd have understood that stars twinkle because of our atmosphere. The starlight has to pass through an area of gases with different temperatures and densities, not to mention any possible turbulence in there. It's why stars appear to twinkle more the closer to the horizon they are, because from your perspective they have to go through more atmosphere. Remember, that's on you that you didn't know that.
So I started looking at them more and more, and right around that time I was looking into that, I had a friend of mine, TJ, who me and him never talked about this stuff. I never mentioned it to him, but one day he came over unexpectedly and he says, bro, I know we talk about a lot of stuff, conspiracies and all these different things, man, and we see eye to eye and stuff. He's like, man, you got to look into flat Earth. And it kind of took me a step back because I really look up to this guy, and I do now more than ever. But in that moment in my mind, I was like, oh my gosh, my friend's gone off the rocker. He's kind of lost it.
But let me guess, you did your own research and then fell for the flat Earth nonsense. Happens every time.
What's going on here?
And that led me on a journey to start researching and studying it.
I knew it. Dear oh dear, what a mess. Well, moving on from that, we now have DITRH, good old David Weiss, who thinks that Hawaii proves a flat Earth. Should be a good one, this.
I'm going to demonstrate that here in Hawaii, the Earth is flat. Now, I'm on the island of Kauai. Here's Kauai. Kauai is about 26 miles across. And here is the island of Oahu. Oahu is about 42 miles across. And the distance between Kauai and Oahu from center to center is about 108 miles, according to Google. The highest point on the highest point on Oahu is Mount Ka'ala, 4,026 feet in elevation.
Right, got you so far. I can already imagine where this is going, but let's continue.
There's another picture of Ka'ala. Now here is a shot that I took early in the morning. Clearly see Oahu off in the distance. Remember, this is about 100 miles away. This is taken from the Wailua River State Park. There's an overlook here. Clearly see the landmass. another image of it. This is not a mirage, and it's not refraction.
No, it is Mount Carlar. Now, as usual with these sorts of things, they've not looked at the numbers correctly. And yes, it is around 108 miles from the centre of each of these two islands. However, with regards to your footage, you say yourself that you are in the Waialua River National Park, which is at a distance of 87.6 miles to the peak of Mount Carlar. Apologies if I'm butchering these pronunciations, by the way. Additionally, most of the Waialua River National Park is around 100 metres above sea level, so we need to factor that in as well. Now, once we plug all of that into the curve calculator, you will see that there should be around 700 metres hidden, and as Mount Carlar is 1,227 metres tall, then you would absolutely see it. Also, from your footage, it's quite clear you can't see all of that island, which is what you would expect with 700 metres hidden. Dear, oh dear.
Clearly see it. Just did a little pan here to show you where I'm at. This is Waialua River State Park. You can see the roosters off in the background. This is the island of roosters. And there's Oahu. So, if we were on a curved Earth, just because of the curve, you would not be able to see this landmass. It's too far away. It would be below the horizon.
Let's check out Earth's curvature calculator.
And as you can see, they've got the figures all wrong. Now, even if we change the viewer height to 200 feet, which is what they've done, then they would still be able to see the island. What a massive fail this one is. Right, moving on, we've got our old Flat Earth Fell compilation friend, Level Earth Observer. Doesn't feel right doing one without including him. And he's having a go this time at the Chinese space station.
It's Friday night and I fancy a Chinese. So I'm going to entertain some Chinese space propaganda. Let's see what flavours the Chinese serve up for us. First up, a recent spacewalk. Ah, now this is great. We're only seconds in and we got the Chinese exposing NASA. Please note the solid hatch here the Chinese are using to exit their space station and supposedly enter the vacuum of space. I'll put it back a bit. I say, just note the solid hatch. That solid hatch exposes one of the techniques these people use. And I'm going to use NASA's floppy pantomime as an example. Bear with me.
Okay, so he's not happy with the Chinese space station hatch because apparently it's different from NASA's. Okay, Level Earth Observer, you've intrigued me. Carry on.
As most will know who visit this channel, pretty much most of the spacewalks are filmed underwater.
Well, that's your opinion, an incorrect one, might I add as well. So let's take what Elio says next with a huge pinch of salt.
And when you have scenes of astronauts finishing their spacewalks and going back to the space station after a long so-called EVA, they have to shut the hatch. The hatch essentially has to be floppy because they're underwater. If it was solid, like we saw the Chinese just now, a different scene, a different technique, but if it was solid, then it would have too much resistance against the water.
Which begs the question, how do these Chinese astronauts film spacewalks then?
And the astronaut would struggle to shut the door, the hatch, because of the resistance of the water, and of course give the game away, which is why they use floppy hatches for scenes where they enter and exit space stations during so-called spacewalks.
Now, of course, Level Earth Observer is totally wrong here once again. Yes, there's a floppy cover on the ISS, but that's exactly what it is, a cover, a thermal one to be precise. The solid metal airlock hatch door is a solid one, and it opens inward, just like the Chinese one. Look, you can see the metal inward swinging airlock door in this clip. A huge fail from LEO there.
And now we're back with this scene. Like I say, China can get away with a solid hatch with this scene because they're not underwater. But what's going to follow is a couple of clips, some underwater scenes, and a couple of stage shots. And one of the stage shots is pure mockery, I'll tell you. But you've got to love the fact that Chinese solid prop hatch has just served up NASA.
Even though NASA also have a solid door hatch.
Again, not difficult, admittedly. But let's continue. Underwater, staged. Underwater. And then we get this stage shot, which is just pure mockery. Especially when I put a straight line up against that horizon. And then when I put a red line up against that horizon, the mockery's there for all to see.
Is it though? The Chinese space station is around 425 kilometers up. And with a fisheye lens, you can quite easily get a horizon that looks like that. You see it all the time. Anyway, buddy, when are you going to debunk that 50-minute ISS tour that I keep asking you to have a look at? You know, that one without any cuts or anything like that you're petrified at looking at? Or you've already looked at it and realised it's undebunkable, so you're ignoring my requests. We're waiting, buddy. Right, on to our final clip today, which turns out is the trailer for the upcoming Flat Earth documentary Level 3. You know, the third film in the trilogy of documentaries that all the Flat Earthers think is the best documentary out there. Now, we've already torn apart the first two documentaries, can't wait to get stuck into the third. Here's the trailer.
Hey, Judy? Judy. How you doing? I'm from the press. There's a conspiracy about space shuttle. No, I want to be polite.
Howdy. I'm just doing some filming. What? Just anything we can see. We're just doing a documentary.
It costs NASA $3 billion per year to operate the ISS, and if they don't have a darn good explanation as to why they're faking these videos, I and the public would like a darn good explanation as to where our tax money is going.
Oh my word, the cringe. This guy stood up in some sort of government setting preaching that the NASA videos are fake. Oh, I can't wait to look at this.
There's no proof of gravity.
Of course, that's how science actually works, is you do an experiment that shows you what the cause of the effect is, and you can manipulate electrostatics and cause the effect of downward acceleration, commonly referred to as gravity. Of course, I've never seen a test that manipulates space-time, and you will never see that. It doesn't exist.
Yes, the old electrostatic argument. Can't believe he's saying that one with a straight face.
The world is bigger than we know.
The government is hiding more land.
They've taken our focus and put it up there and not to the outer land.
Once you start paying attention and have an open mind, then you'll start to see that it's so obvious.
So ultimately the master plan in all of this is to fake an alien invasion.
You guys are just confused where they come from. They don't come from some far off planet trillions of light years away.
Old documents, patents, US government, Russia government, German government, everyone.
They're using electrostatics and other technology to maneuver around. Maybe they're even just pulling energy out of the air.
Wow, they've gone full tinfoil on this one, haven't they?
The government is so evil that they're devising any type of plan that they can to manipulate people into one world government.
Pay attention.
What's stopping you? You've never seen curvature with your own eyes. You never felt the earth spinning. You've never been able to observe and measure these claims.
What's up, y'all? I'm in a flat earth film. It's called Level With Me. It's a masterpiece.
His new film, his new documentary, Level With Me.
Judge all you want. I'm changing the world with or without your support.
Yes, and making yourself look very silly in the process.
I'm gonna go out there and say it right now.
He's an incredible video editor, and he knows what people respond to. So he's basically using that system this blah blah. He's putting truth in your face and packaging it. It's like an hour format where it's so gripping that you can't deny it.
Oh yes you can, my British friend. Yes you can. And we will again. I will do everything in my power to make sure the debunks of Level With Me are higher up in the search than the actual documentary itself. Well, what a lovely way to finish this episode of the Flat Earth Fail compilation. But for now, we're all done and dusted for another Flat Earth Friday. Thank you so much for watching. It truly is appreciated. If you enjoyed it today, hit that like button and subscribe as well. We're only about 20k away from the 500,000 now. Really want to get there before the end of the year. I've been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a great weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday for the return of an astronomer who thinks he knows more than NASA. Interesting. See you then.